What's happening there, Reject Nation? Greg, John, Squad Leader Ace, follow him on Instagram and Twitter. Our Star Wars expert, as he self-proclaims on the daily to his mom and dad. You pervert. Anyway, guys, we're gonna watch Star Wars Part 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't care what a small percentage that sounds like a large percentage of the internet has to say. I'm very much excited for this. I should probably acknowledge the fact that we have microphones. We have headphones in the mail right now with a headset. They're supposed to come today, but they're coming late. So this was the next best thing that Johnny Boy over here was able to jerry-rig at the last minute. But yeah, we want to improve the audio for ourselves. We figured after 1 million subscribers, we should probably get good audio for these reactions. And now here we are. So if you guys can leave a like, that'd be very much appreciated. Also subscribe and click that bell to get notified when our reaction for the next episode, the final episode of Obi-Wan, is up here on the channel. As always, full-length watch-alongs where you single with the time code for Obi-Wan available for our super sexy rejects at our Patreon page. That makes it really catchy. I'm losing my breath. And yeah, cover a whole bunch of shows over there as well. Lastly, want to thank Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. Let's get to it.
Ooh. Oh.
This looks like the prequels.
This is Coruscant.
Oh, shit! We are already.
Let's do some de-aging.
Oh, there you are.
Was beginning to think you weren't coming.
Then maybe I stand more of a chance this time. Are you ready?
Oh, yep.
This is Clone Wars era, Attack of the Clones era.
Then let's begin.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm already losing my mind.
This might be the episode. Oh,
You gotta go back, Vader. Keep flashbacking.
back to tank Vader.
Oh my god.
Where is he?
The tracker worked. He's arriving on Jabeam as we speak.
You have done well. Kneel.
Huh? Some people on the internet have opinions. Oh, damn, we've been nailed, Grand Inquisitor.
Cool.
Vader's woke.
It's a Grand Inquisitor.
The hand of the Vader.
Set a course, Captain. We leave for Jabeam at once.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Grand Inquisitor actually dead?
No.
Definitely.
Rebels, always canon.
What are you doing here?
Right after I saw you, I got into a fight with that scary Lady Inquisitor. Now I'm wanted by the Empire. So now I know what it feels like being a real Jedi.
Same thing, yeah.
That transport, I need to get her back to Alderaan.
Once we get all these people out of here, I'll do whatever you want. They've been waiting for months. We used a no trade route to get them out, but the window's closing. We held it to help you get the kid. We only have a few hours.
That's good because you don't have much time.
Damn.
You got the hell out of here.
Really cool shot.
That's a great shot.
The light will fade, but is never forgotten.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Ooh,
You
just
can
a
go all
collection.
Grievous, man.
What's happening?
The controls aren't responding.
An Imperial destroyer just arrived in orbit above us.
She must have tracked us.
It's not her, it's Vader. He'll attack next. He hasn't the patience for a siege.
How do you know?
Oh.
Jedi's goal is to defend life, not take it.
Mercy doesn't defeat an enemy, Master. Which is why you're gonna lose.
Just stay there.
I can't get over how good Hayden is in that. It's exactly like the prequels.
The de-aging's great on
Yeah,
the
that's what I mean. Like it's like he just stepped straight out of that movie.
It's good they play that stuff in the wides and with a lot of motion too.
The Empire will attack soon. They're stronger than us, better equipped, better trained. If we try and fight them, we will not survive.
Oh, that's bad news.
We just need to hold them off long enough to get you all out. Roken, how much time do you need to override the doors?
3-4 hours.
You have one. We're gonna lock down every other entrance in this facility. If we defend our position together, then by the time they get inside, we'll be gone.
That's the General Kenobi we know.
No, of course.
Music is on fire this episode.
That was underwhelming.
I'm going to need a ladder.
It's not playtime right now, princess.
Do as she asks. I trust her. Get her the ladder.
That's the daughter of Vader right there. You do what she says.
If I don't hear from you soon, I'll head to Tatooine. Owen will need help with the boy. I pray you're safe, Obi-Wan.
You also pray your daughter's safe, too.
You're right, Ben. Some things you can't forget, but you can fight to make them better.
We're in trouble.
That's like the theme of everything he's been doing this whole show.
Tell the Inquisitor I want to talk. I'll buy as much time as I can.
If this is you stalling for time, Lord Vader will have you at any cost.
You mean Anakin? You knew who Vader was. Vader would have kept that hidden. Unless you were there. The night of Order 66, you were a young one. Anakin killed the others.
That's enough.
He killed the other younglings,
Enough.
but somehow you...
Enough!
Damn, that's a revelation.
We thought he was there to help us.
No.
I tried to help them, but I couldn't. When he left, I played dead. They were the only family I knew. And he slaughtered them.
You're not serving him, are you?
Yeah.
I don't need anyone.
You won't stop him alone.
You have no idea what I've done alone.
Whoa.
Oh, God. Wow. Oh, that was a cool shot.
Ooh.
I like that.
I love it.
That swinging at.
Yeah, he's like blocking every shot.
Oh, cool.
God, it's a dogfight.
You goddamn stormtroopers. No, don't. Oh, don't die.
Tala?
I like you.
Oh, she's done. Yeah.
Oh!
Nice. Nice.
Loader droid MVP.
No!
Yeah.
Knew it was coming.
And he's done too. Yeah.
No, jeez.
Man.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh.
Aww.
Like a shield.
Don't close the door on him. Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
May the Force be with you.
Respect.
Inquisitor has breached the walls. We shall have him soon.
Tell her to stand down.
My lord.
Kenobi is already ours.
Dang.
There's no way out, Master.
Damn, they are just as good with the fighting.
I'm going back.
Are you gonna fight without a weapon?
There are other ways to fight.
Uh-oh.
No.
Damn, we've been looking for such a long time, Leia.
He's on his way. You're gonna die soon.
You're not bringing him to me. I'm bringing him to you. There are families back there. Children. Are you gonna let him do it again? What he did to you?
What makes you think he won't see it coming?
Because all he'll see is me.
That blind rage.
God, all the hissing and crackling.
Still so good at that shit,
Still
man. Damn.
Sounds amazing.
There. Your weapon's gone. Your need for victory, Anakin, it blinds you.
Oh, fuck.
I have him secured inside, my lord.
I will bring him in myself.
Yeah.
Give me back my lightsaber. Guys, give me back my lightsaber.
There it is. Lola, what are you doing in here?
Whoa.
Swimming pool. Alright. Much better.
I do love the way they captured Darth Vader.
Absolutely.
Imposing he is the Imperial March.
Yeah.
Damn.
You did it, Leia.
Gotta get on that shit.
You found that button.
Have who you can. Let's get some transport, people. Move, let's go.
No.
No, come on.
Oh, you know he's gonna find that.
He's so badass.
Oh! No!
That was so cool.
I had a feeling.
Oh shit!
I had a feeling he was gonna do that.
God.
I was like, he's strong enough to do that.
Oh damn!
Dead ass.
Oh,
it's so great. We're gonna see this.
I think it's a decoy, right?
Oh! Oh!
Oh my god!
Yes.
Yeah, it's a decoy.
Nice.
You can stop that 1-2, Vader.
He could have, but it was too late. I had a feeling he was gonna do that.
Hey!
You're a great warrior, Anakin. But you'll need to prove yourself as your undoing. Until you overcome it,
Oh, that's the saber.
you will still be.
Oh. Damn, these were the prequel scenes I wanted.
So good.
Oh.
No,
I think she's about to get stabbed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was wise to use you against me.
Oh,
goddamn!
Eesh.
Oh shit! Oh my god! I love this.
That's so good.
Holy crap!
No saber.
It's like Kung Fu Master.
Oh my god!
Oh, cool! Oh.
Yes.
Come on, Reva. Get a good one in at least.
No way.
At least take a piece with you.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is amazing.
Oh no.
Oh, is he gonna pull it? Oh, okay.
Oh, looky there.
Pick it up.
He literally said, let's go. 1-on-1. Oh my god.
Shit. I can't get over this.
He's so good. It's so crispy, man.
That was awesome, dude.
The flow.
I mean, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for Reva, but damn.
Oh man.
Wow, you can see the child in her eyes right there. Damn.
Yeah. That's a bummer, man.
Oh.
Did you really believe I did not see it, youngling?
Damn.
Youngling, huh?
You are
There he
no
is.
further
It was a master plan this whole time.
We will leave you where we found you. In the gutter where you belong. Goodbye, Grand Inquisitor.
Where's he been hiding?
Probably in the back of the tank.
He was like, I'm just waiting for my moment. My moment.
In the Inquisitor's
I'll be on
lounge.
standby to walk in. Any moment now. Damn, I don't give a shit what people say, man. That was one of the coolest live action Vader scenes
That was
we've ever
so
got.
sick.
That was one of the coolest, maybe the coolest.
That was like in
terms of fighting, yeah. That was great.
Ip Man, like the way he was
the way he moves
dodging,
with
like
the water.
smooth.
Yeah. Ah.
No.
Owen, help the boy.
Get to Tatooine, man. Wow, damn. That was a cool episode.
Andrew
great.
Stanton co-wrote this.
I really like that one. I love that one. How we all feeling?
Good, man.
That was great, huh? That was awesome.
Very quality
That was awesome.
episode.
I
Yeah.
really loved how that prequel fight, not prequel fight, but the
Obi-Wan Anakin, yeah.
That's between Attack of the Clones and Clone Wars? Or is that like in the midst of Clone Wars, you think?
That's around Clone Wars era, yeah.
Yeah, I like how that one fight kind of resembled this whole plot that we were watching unfold between the two of them playing games with each other, trying to outwit each other here. Ah, so sick.
It could be pre-Clones era too, though. It's definitely around that time though, because Clone Wars starts with Attack of the Clones, so it could be probably pre-Clones era, right before.
Yeah, I got my lineage messed up there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Pre-Attack of the Clones is what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
That was
fun. It was cool seeing Hayden, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I loved it. I love seeing Hayden.
What really dawned on me, what hit me this time around, something that the prequels never did for me, is it was the first time seeing, you know, I kind of said this before with other episodes, but this one especially did it for me, was seeing Hayden Christensen. It was the first time, like, that is young Darth Vader. Like, that's the first time I've ever felt that, young Darth Vader. Whereas before, it was kind of like, I have a very different association with the prequels versus original trilogy.
Sure.
And here I felt like, nah, this is Hayden Christensen embodying young Darth Vader at this point in a weird way. I really thought he was great here. And even in those little bits we got. But You know, Reva is terrible at sneaking up on Vader. What a stupid ass way to sneak up on Vader. You don't yell and get a big ass strike ready to go. You just do you should do the Kylo Ren stab thing. That remember in the Last Jedi? The
Last Jedi, yeah.
That's what you do to Vader. You don't fucking charge up and yell. Stupid.
Hey, no idea contained within The Last Jedi is good, and I'm offended that you would recommend that.
I mean, just the fact that they whatever you think about Reva's character portrayal, I mean, I really liked her a lot in this episode. Everything just kind of really clicked for me, especially with uncovering her backstory.
Yeah,
it's always been kind of like a little bit. A lot of people have been predicting that she'd probably turn good by the. Or somehow fight on Obi-Wan's side by the end. However, her character just did come full circle, and the whole performance kind of came full circle to me.
Yeah.
In this one episode, when you uncover that, every bit of your portrayal now makes a lot more sense.
It definitely makes sense because it's one of those things where it wouldn't make sense if she was a youngling, that she knew Anakin was Vader, and that she would join Vader.
Yeah,
that's what would bug me. It kind of bugged me that's when episode 2 came out, and she was like, Anakin is Vader, and I was like, why would you like him if he killed like everyone you know?
Yeah,
and it made a lot more sense for me for her to not be with that somehow.
Yeah. He groomed her.
Yeah,
he says, remember.
That's where we've come to, is one major franchise to comment on another major franchise. That's the kind of allegory that we really need. The hard-hitting stuff, man.
Yeah. Just awful jokes, people. All right, well, let's talk about this, but what a way to segue. Thanks to Storyblocks. Thank you to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video.
Being the cinematic artisans we obviously are, we are always in search of ways to make our videos look better, faster, and most of all, for cheap.
Cheap is good! And if you're a content creator or filmmaker or anything in between, you're probably in a similar position.
It's tough to get your content looking as good as it can be without breaking the bank or burning yourself out in the process, which is why I heavily encourage you guys to check out what Storyblocks has to offer.
Cheap is good!
Do you feel like this is their way of telling us that the videos could be looking better?
Yes. Whether it's the credibility of an exotic establishing shot, the soothing comfort of the perfect music bed, or just the satisfaction of increasing your graphical capability.
Storybox has an incredibly inclusive and diverse library of faces, places, sounds, titles, transitions, filters, and effects.
And more.
Over 1 million assets, royalty-free, and available for personal and commercial use with your membership.
Sounds so affordable.
It is quite affordable. They have multiple subscription levels to suit your exact needs, whether you're an independent indie solo creator or a whole team.
So if you want to learn more, head on down to our link in the description box and get started. That's at storyblocks.com/rejects. Now, back to the video. All right, yeah, this was an amazing episode. I genuinely love this one. I'll get my one little nitpick out of the way. My little, I mean, I think it's kind of a valid criticism. When the people of this planet, what's this planet called? Jimbo?
Jabeen.
Jabeen.
Jim Bean.
Jim Bean. That's probably how they came up with the name of the planet.
Someone was real drunk on Irish whiskey and were like, you know, Jim Beam.
You could just slurred the word Jim Beam.
You could be a Star Wars Jim Beam. It's good.
Yeah, it was, you know, when they're all in danger and Obi-Wan's going all general on their ass about like, here's what we're gonna do. I was just there going, man, I don't know shit about you people. I don't give a crap. Die. Like they haven't done anything to make me feel invested in them.
Sure. I think just the whole, like, their families, there's kids. Yeah. I think that was the main.
It's a universal thing we can all get on board with.
Yeah,
that's it.
Families and kids.
That's my one little thing. All right, but I didn't come here to watch Obi-Wan to learn about the people of Jabeen, so I don't really care.
The Trandoshans of Jabeen.
Yeah, so I don't really care about it. But as far as this episode went, this is my favorite one of the season so far. I thought it was firing on pretty much all cylinders for me. I loved the music all around. But the way they use the fight scene between Anakin and Obi-Wan, of the lessons learned in that fight, and then watching it kind of repeat itself you know, of the Vader's mistakes of going head on for just so determined to get victorious. And, you know, Obi-Wan being able to anticipate the way Vader is because he knows that Anakin is still so much in there, I thought was awesome. But goddamn it, all right, look, what's the real thing here? The real thing's that fucking fight, right? When freaking Vader shows up and he stops the ship. I just love the way it was captured because it's so reactionary the way he does it. He just walks through that door the second he sees the ship. He just lifts it because the way they capture Vader here with the cool handheld and that, like his march in this show is just such a imposing force. No pun intended, but it's such an imposing force. Then the way he grabs the ship, it felt like something out of, you know, other, like as we were talking about in between. You know, when we cut the camera, like how you were saying, that's the kind of Vader that's usually captured in other mediums. You know, to me, I'm like, oh, that's like the video game Vaders. I love it. And then of course the fight scene too. You know, you were pointing out Ip Man. I'm just gonna point out things they said. Pointing out Ip Man, and
that's why you're here, bud.
But no, it is like that classic Kung Fu Master kind of fight scene of I'm just gonna use defense against you. You know, not even gonna strike you. Just move my body in and out way, move like water. It was awesome. And Riva went up a lot of points. And you know, how much of a dick would I be if I made John talk first while he's fixing his microphone? Ace, why don't you go ahead?
Absolutely.
It was awesome, man. It was really cool to see. As you said when we were off camera, the idea of Vader being the most powerful Force user, which means that he uses. The way he uses the Force is so unique and so different, and he uses this offensively as well as defensively versus someone like Obi-Wan who uses a lot of Force pushes and stuff like that, where Vader uses it as like using the saber against you, pulling down ships, ripping apart ships, ripping doors apart. Like, we don't really see that too much in Star Wars medium, at least live action on film.
Yeah.
So seeing Vader do that was really cool. And it was really cool to see him like use the Force to almost sense movement before they come, right? Where he could see, kind of like in, you know, they explain what the Force is. You can see moments before they happen. You can see the future briefly. So it's like he's dodging those shots that Riva's going for using the Force, and he's doing it so easily because he's so tapped into the dark side of the Force that it's like this is second nature to him. It's awesome. It's like I'm telling you, man, it's like a basketball player with like sweet handles who's just like schooling you, who's just like, bro, come at me, you can't take me. It's so cool.
If I ever am blessed with any kind of sport career, I want sweet handles to be my
sweet
nickname.
handles, bro. This is Kyrie with the handles, or Steph Curry with the handles.
Jay Humps.
Yeah, I thought this was great. This felt like I was watching an episode out of the series I was hoping for all along. You know, not to slight what's come before, because I've enjoyed stuff out of every other episode, but this was the one that felt like, yeah, it was firing on the most cylinders all at once, and it felt like the desperation clicked. And one thing that I especially appreciated that I noticed partway through was when Riva and Vader were fighting. And I know how everyone feels about Riva, but for me, I was sitting there going, come on, land a good blow, get something up on him. And it had me in that place where I was like, something could happen, even though in the back of my mind I know that Vader's going to go on and we're going to get 4, 5, and 6 and all sorts of other stuff with Darth Vader, and Darth Vader is definitely not going to perish here and now. At the same time, I was caught up in the moment to that degree, and I feel like that, you know, feeling of peril and that actual just sort of the way that can transport you into just the immediate here and now of an episode like this, I think is really effective. And yeah, this kind of coalesced to where, like, yeah, there are still certain aspects of character, especially with Obi-Wan, I wish we could have dived into. This brought a lot of, at least, nice sort of lyrical nods to the you get that one flashback that's sort of the wraparound of everything that's kind of underpinning the emotion of this episode. But I feel like through those glimpses and the way you were talking about the Force almost giving you these brief glimpses into the future, I like the way that you could also compare it to PTSD, but the way they used brief flashes from the past in these present moments, either between between Reva and Vader, or just Vader imposing and approaching Obi-Wan and the rest of the sort of cobbled together rebellion. Like I thought that, yeah, this managed to sweep me up, and then with all the visuals and the music, it came together to feel like, yeah, this is definitely like the best episode thus far. And yeah, like it's a good episode of this series, but it's also a good episode of the series that we've been kind of speculating on in the previous episodes when we've been discussing what hasn't clicked so much for us. So I'm really happy to see that they got there here.
Well, what I really appreciate about this one too is that you saw Obi-Wan, because we've been expecting this for him to kind of morph back into, being in tune with the Force, being a lightsaber user again, being a Jedi overall. But here we got to see him be a general again, which was something that I was very much appreciative of. And I think what they do that's really interesting, and really a lot was just kind of clicking for me this episode, is because Obi-Wan is not really known to, I mean, correct me if I'm way off base here, but from my recollection, he's not one to just start telling people like everything that's going on internally with him. I think about something like with Duchess Satine, even, for example, like it took him forever to kind of divulge his feelings for her. And he usually takes a specific type of intimate moment for him to say how he's thinking and feeling. Even in this episode, you see when he at the final moments, he's like, everything's fine, guys, everything's fine, I don't think anything's wrong. But then you have that look. I think a lot of what the turmoil of Obi-Wan or Ewan McGregor's performance here is mainly done with these like really intimate handheld close-ups on his like eyes and face when he's just lost in thought over a particular situation, but he usually covers up when he's around other people, depending on who he's like comfortable with, or depending on the moment. So I feel like kind of those emotional meets that you're sort of hoping to get a little bit more of, as am I. I think that's really going to come in the final episode. I'm hoping. God damn, am I hoping. I'm really hoping that it's the final episode of whatever conversation we get. I hope it's not just another cool fight with Vader and Obi-Wan, that whatever dialogue exchange they have, and I am kind of hoping that like and Darth Vader takes off the helmet or something like that, where we can have the conversation without the helmet, because it is kind of cool. Every once in a while I get pulled out going, Obi-Wan saying Vader. Even McGregor's Obi-Wan is saying the word Vader. Yes. And I don't think he's ever, this is the first time he's gotten to even say the word Vader before, was in this show. So yeah, man, this is great, because I think this one was a very a really good composed stage they set for like having the locked off section of where everyone is. And man, fucking Star Wars has this incredible ability to fool me for a few moments to make me think stormtroopers are cool again. When they're all like lined up.
They look cool.
They look cool.
They look really cool. And it was a cool, like you said, like set direction where you have all the stormtroopers lined up, you have the ship in the back, and then you have Reva walk in right through the middle. You have Vader walked right through the middle. It felt very cinematic. It felt very cinematic, and that was a really cool aspect of this episode that probably wasn't done previously too much in the previous ones. I really enjoyed that. And then even the fights, we haven't talked about a little bit about the fight scene beforehand with the stormtroopers and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And
the specificity of it. Yeah.
It was really cool because it
Take it away, man.
It felt like this was kind of like a throwback to like you're facing down like 40 stormtroopers at once, and here's a Jedi in the middle of it just taking down like dozens of them just by their own blaster fire.
Yeah. Well, I think the slight differences, because what this episode really demonstrated was this variation of lightsaber fights. The fight scene between Reva and Vader is very different than the one that Obi-Wan and Anakin were having in their flashback, which felt very much like out of the prequel fights. And by the way, again, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, like, oh goddamn, you guys can still move. like even better in some ways, Yeah. It was awesome.
It felt ripped right out of Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
It felt like, oh my god, I'm back in 2002.
It was awesome.
Sitting in theater 10 years old.
But even when they are fighting the stormtroopers, a lot of times when they're deflecting, if this is just on our podcast, we have a podcast, by the way. But it's just on the podcast. It's just dude like that. But I love whenever he did like a full on strike, you know, to deflect the laser. I'm like, you don't really see that too often with the Jedi, doing a full on like baseball strike or a sword strike to get a laser away. But John, your homie girl, she died this episode. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm very, very sad about that.
Tala, yeah.
Yeah,
for a second I was like,
justice for Tala, man. I mean, hey, she got a good... Those moments always really work well on me when there's like some kind of moment of clarity or moment of just a piercing through the veil of chaos, you know, and that moment I thought was very effective. And yeah, I figured she would probably be sacrificed, especially because I think of the morality, not to say that there's one uniform to it, but I think of the morality of something like this, you know, in order for her to have worked her way up the Imperial ladder, she must have had, I mean, she talks about it here, she's done some pretty nasty things, and so I think that's the ultimate poetic end for a character like that, is to have them go out in some kind of benevolent sacrifice. And yeah, even that, like, I really enjoyed her journey over this, and I thought they made a moment out of that in a really nice way. And now when Leia comes down and she's like, you know, where's Tala? Did Tala make it? Like, you know, that even rang true to me, for as much as, you know, again, we've sort of gone back and forth about how they've characterized characters. Like, yeah, I thought they characterized her. She was one of the highlights of the series for me, and I'm very sad to see her go. Yeah, and I mean, it was nice to get more of that supporting cast in too, so it starts to feel like a bit of a community, because you have her and you have Roken and you have Haja back, and you know, you've got some familiar faces to at least pin it together. And I'm glad that at least, you know, they made it out. You know, we might be able to see some of them in the future.
I do wish though that we got sometimes, and I think we've had this issue, I think we've all kind of shared this complaint before with this show, is sometimes I'm like, just take a little bit more of them. I mean, maybe not in the heat of the moment, but when you're back on the ship, you know, like them grieving Tala, like them really feeling the loss of someone like that, especially Leia in that given situation. And then something that really like hit me that was so sad was the droid. Remember the droid's name? You remember
Lola?
No, not Lola. The loader droid.
Oh, the loader droid.
Yeah, when the droid died, and it was
Ted? So as like a shield. Yeah,
it was so dramatic, and
yeah,
he just fell to his knees like, "I'm here to protect you in your last moments." And I'm like, "Oh man, I wish we got more of a." I felt sad. But I'm like, if we got a little bit more of that dynamic with them, I would have been heartbroken.
It was very much a K2 moment.
Definitely.
From Rogue One.
Yeah, great call. That's why you're here to say shit like that.
That's what it felt very much like they were trying to tell us that, to communicate that this is a K2 SO moment.
Well, I thought they did a good job imbuing that droid with personality. And I just could have used more of that up until here. Yeah, like it would have, it affected me, but it could have been that much more affecting.
Yeah. What was your favorite parts about this, man?
I really you know what I thought was cool? And I might be wrong, and maybe it's because I had one headphone in.
Your subjective opinion is wrong.
But I don't hear everything all the way through. But when Obi-Wan was like, let me talk to her, I think the stormtrooper went up to Reva and he's like, well, this one's gonna negotiate. And I was like, oh my God, Obi-Wan the negotiator. And I was like, oh crap, he's gonna do the thing, he's gonna negotiate because he's the negotiator. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a cool callback to like Obi-Wan being the guy to like try to talk his way out of or into a situation. He did it in Clone Wars. He does it in various Clone Wars episodes, but he does it in the Clone Wars movie. But even General Grievous calls him the negotiator because he's supposed to be really good at not manipulating, but kind of manipulating the situation, where he's able to talk his way into or out of situations with enemies or villains or people that he can try to, you know, get to do certain things that they didn't want to do. And Vader hinted at that at the end of the episode when he told Reva, he's like, yeah, you know, Obi-Wan knows what he's doing when he told you those things and stuff like that, where I was like, oh, okay, so they're kind of hinting at Obi-Wan being able to use not just Anakin's rage, but Reva's rage to escape. And I was like, that's a cool callback to Obi-Wan doing his Clone Wars General Kenobi thing. So
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite moments.
That's a great. That's actually, that didn't even dawn on me in the moment. Yeah, that's a great call because, yeah, it's usually like Obi-Wan is even a lot of time. It's sometimes the negotiation is just a. Is the decoy, is the distraction while like Anakin and Ahsoka are going in and handling
That's kind of what it was.
And it's kind of what it was here too. We're like, all right, well, I'm actually kind of like buying you guys some time while I'm negotiating my way out of here. Yeah. Way to go, Ace. You proved your worth for being here.
Positive comments only.
I love this one. I thought it was excellent, and I want to say, like, you know, Reva's you guys have been way more positive about Reva than I've been. Way more back and forth about Moses Ingram's performance, and I've always liked her subtle scenes more. Like the scene when her and Obi-Wan are on the other side of the door and they're talking to each other. And it's shit like that when I'm like, this should have been a binge show. Because, you know, a lot of those complaints that people talk about, I'm like, it's all addressed here. When people are like throwing their arms up at her, it's like, how does she know what I can Like, yeah, just waited a little bit, would have got the answer.
Wait 2 episodes, yeah.
And I don't know, as a more avid Star Wars fan, does that answer like bother you at all?
No, not at all. I mean, to me, what bothered me, I said it after the episode, was the idea that she was a youngling who saw Anakin slaughter all the other younglings. And then she was like, I'm going to follow this guy who's Vader. Like, that would have bothered me way more than this description. Because to me, that made no sense for someone to be traumatized by someone and then to suddenly be like, but I'm devoted to them because they're powerful. And I'm just like, but no, that wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, I could see a scenario depending on how you raise someone. There's a lot of fucked up French films you need to watch.
Sure, but I mean, I feel like killing thousands of children.
Star Wars really needs a little more of a new wave vibe to it, with a depraved human drama element.
I just feel like someone killing thousands of...
Oh, no, I mean, no, okay, you're talking about something very logical. I'm talking about a very different type of like fear-based thing. And, well, I mean, it does make me kind of question, you know, why he spared her and, you know, what was their relationship ultimately like. You know, it would make more sense if it was like, I spare you and I kind of morph you into like my daughter's Padawan thing, you know, like something. But it still seems like the relationship is so impersonal, though. It doesn't feel like there's anything more to grasp onto other than, because I would have never picked up that there was some type of bigger history with these two, other than that's an Inquisitor auditioning for the Grand Inquisitor job, you know. And I think that's a quality that I just think that would have added more nuance and weight if they did kind of allude to. There's a reason because they didn't even go into that, you know, why out of like all the younglings he doesn't kill her, unless I totally missed it in the heat of the moment.
And yeah, because looking at the visual language of that scene, it sure looked like he stabbed her through both times. So I'm like, did he just leave her for dead and she didn't die, or
terrible,
was that a
terrible
bad
stabber,
edit?
that Vader twice she lives.
Well, yeah, because in that moment it sure looked like they tried to do a match shot where Anakin blue lightsaber stabs her. Vader, red lightsaber, same thing.
I think the implication, I'm going to reach here, but you know, this is what I do.
That's why we pay you the
they
big
call
bucks.
him the Reach.
I'm going to Michael Jordan
Reach
Space Jam Reach. But I think the implication, and maybe it's just that one line that Vader had when he says, you didn't think I see this coming, where I feel like maybe the implication was he was always planning on using her somehow. Like, this is a tool for me to get somewhere in the future.
The Sith do seem the least skeeved by being like, hey, I know you got a lot of rage and you probably hate me, but we can work with that.
Yeah, it's very much like I can see certain things coming, but only to a certain point, but I could still see them coming. Where the implication of dark side users seeing the future is very much like, I can see what I can do with this person. I can see the potential this far in the distance. And I feel like maybe that's what Reva was to Vader, where he's like, this girl is going to take me somewhere. She's going to do something for me. I'm going to keep her around, you know, keep her close, manipulate her, make her seem like she's powerful, give her titles or pretend to give her titles, and do all this kind of stuff in order to get what I need to get.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely there. I mean, it shows, especially in the text of keeping the Grand Inquisitor alive and putting up this false thing of having people compete for Grand Inquisitor. I still think that there's still I don't know. I mean, it's a bit of a reach in the sense I'm like, well, if he can kind of predict that far down the road, why didn't he could have predicted how the shit could have gone down with Obi-Wan on oh my god, I'm like Mustafar.
You mean in Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, because that was obviously before that fight with Obi-Wan. So I don't know. I mean,
but I feel like in that moment it was more like, if you rewatch Revenge of the Sith, it's super like he's just all blind rage.
True.
Like even his eyes are yellow and he's screaming all the time and he's like, "You are lost," and he's like. And it feels like Anakin in that moment is just like so consumed by the dark side and so consumed with the dark deeds that he did during that time that it's like, I don't think he can see anything except like red.
Except, when he was slaughtering younglings. That was a very optimistic personality he had at the time. Very positive thinking.
This slaughter is going very well. This is an A-grade slaughter, if I say so myself, guys.
I still love seeing the 501st there. Anakin's
on the first episode?
Army. No, the 501st is Anakin's own clone.
Oh, okay.
Garrison, which I think is funny because if you follow the Clone Wars animated series, they're like the homies. They're like we're like the cool guys, and then they slaughter all the Jedi. And it's like, damn, I thought you guys were cool.
Wasn't the Tamora Morrison Boba Fett one? Not Boba Fett, but the Tamora Morrison. That was 501st one, right? Yeah. Well, shit. All right, guys. Well, I forgot I was going with the whole Reva point. I thought she did a great job in this episode. I really liked her a lot, and I think that I'm very I'm holding out hope that this next one's gonna stick the landing. And I hope it's not fucking like 35 minutes or whatever the shit this length has been, because this felt, it was about the same length as the last episode, yet this felt way more substantial.
It did, yeah. I think it was a little, maybe like 5 or 6 minutes longer, maybe. But still,
I could go for a full hour.
Yeah, I agree.
For the next
I still feel like there could be a little bit more time to breathe.
Yeah,
like give me 5 more minutes to let certain scenes breathe.
This is paced really well for a show that is mostly concerned with plotting.
Yes.
Or I'll say, well, pretty well for a show mostly concerned with plotting. I sometimes wish it was a show concerned with more than plotting to a greater extent.
Well, that's why I'm kind of thinking that the first episode was more emotional. And then I'm hoping the last episode, kind of brings it full circle with making it more emotional. I'm hoping, I'm not saying they will, I'm hoping.
Is it the kind of thing where one episode, if that last episode is just so what you've been hoping for, that it would make the entire series feel like a smooth ride, or would it be kind of like we got there by the end?
I mean, writing something to be episodic is very different than writing something to be binge, and I know that when they write this shit, they write it as one piece, as like one big piece, and then they go, but we're gonna release it weekly. and there's just such a different type of writing formula to that. So I'm that's kind of the hope that I'm having, is that, that when this is all out, I could rewatch all of this in one sitting and be like, yeah, it's one big package, this is great. I still feel like, but like the little 5 extra minutes you're talking about will go a long way in situations like the things I was kind of craving a little bit more of emotional nuance of. Absolutely. But hey, this is fun. This is great.
Aye.
Good job on pointing out things we didn't notice, Ace. That's what you're here for.
I did it.
Killing it, Ace.
For a show that's not like exceptionally consumed with Easter eggs too, surprisingly, I don't feel like it's like I feel like Mandalorian's like really like Clone Wars, Rebels, all these things.
Boba Fett too. Boba Fett
like, definitely. Woo. Yeah, it's because I think Jon Favreau, not Jon, he is, but Dave Filoni, but Filoni's fingerprints are all over that shit. Yeah. So I think that's why that show's so like Easter eggs everywhere.
As cool as Easter eggs are, seeing a Coruscant flashback with Anakin and Obi-Wan, that fight scene, the dialogue, the fight, that whole thing just made the episode worth it.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It made everything worth it, because it was cool to see Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. I don't know if we've mentioned that too much, but seeing him as Anakin and seeing him take on that personality, take on even the same fighting form, and I know that's a really, really nerdy thing, but the fighting form that Anakin
you're not
has,
the only one who's going to pick that up.
and the fighting form that Obi-Wan has, which is Form 2, a very defensive form. I think Anakin's Form 5. You know,
you sound like a fucking idiot if you ask me. What are you
which is an offensive, you know, very aggressive form, and it kind of, as nerdy as that is, that's kind of what the whole thing is about, right? It's about defense and offense, and it's about what do you take and what do you do when you're facing a situation when you're fighting each other. You know, how do you battle? And that's why Obi-Wan says you don't have to battle with just weapons and aggression. You can battle in different ways.
Yeah.
So, that was cool. That made the whole episode worth it.
The episode was great.
That's me being real tight.
You can battle in the comments.
Yeah, no, I full-heartedly agree with all that. Absolutely. And Hayden Christensen, that scene is more. I know you're much bigger.
Oh,
I like Attack of the Clones.
I love Attack of the Clones.
I like Attack of the Clones, and I love Revenge of the Sith. And you know what's funny is normally the hate train goes Phantom Menace. Oh, fuck that. But Attack of the Clones is all right. That's my guilty pleasure. And I'm actually the opposite. I'm like, I like Attack of the Clones, and I really don't like Phantom Menace, but I really love Revenge of the Sith. And John's favorite movie is Phantom Menace.
That's right.
Number
The
one.
only
I'm
movie
talking
I
about
care
Star
about.
Wars, just all movies in general.
Yeah,
This is Phantom Menace.
My top 3 is Phantom Menace, Phantom Menace, and Phantom Menace.
And then Shawshank Redemption.
And then Shawshank Redemption, which I haven't seen, but I'm just going to trust that it's my 4th favorite movie when I do see it. And then Phantom Menace, Phantom Menace, Phantom Menace.
I just like to look at Ace to see what's he thinking.
I love Phantom Menace.
How is this bit going?
It's going great.
Is it good? Is
It's
there enough
amazing.
love for the prequels in the bit?
Perfect amount of love.
Do you like your mic?
All right.
I love my mic.
What's your ranking? What's your ranking of the prequels, Ace? Huh? What's your ranking of the prequels?
My ranking of the prequels?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough.
Phantom Menace, Phantom Menace, Phantom Menace.
I'd probably go Revenge of the Sith, and then Phantom Menace, and then Attack of the Clones.
Wow, that's the wrong order. Revenge of the Sith, number 1? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm pretty sure that's universally.
Yes.
I should have you do a ranking video here on the channel sometime.
I love all 3 though. To be honest, I think they're all different obviously for what they're trying to communicate, but they all have different aspects and they all have their own like pros and cons.
True.
Because a lot of people are like, Phantom Menace is dumb because of Jar Jar, and I'm like, yeah, but Attack of the Clones has like really weirdish dialogue sometimes, and I feel like that kind of is a drawback.
Sometimes.
Yeah, unlike Phantom Menace.
And then, but Phantom Menace, I feel like with Phantom Menace though, is that what Phantom Menace does so well is Qui-Gon and Darth Maul. And I feel like those 2 things just make it like bump up in my list.
So when in the next episode do you think we'll see Qui-Gon?
When they're fighting,
Next episode.
Qui-Gon's gonna break it up.
He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He does the Chris Pratt Jurassic Park. Whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be good.
That'd be better if they just had Chris Pratt show up. Just a dinosaur hands.
He's like, whoa.
I don't know where I am or what galaxy this is.
He's like, whoa, he's blue.
Clicker train all these Sith and Jedi really quick.
All right, guys. Well, what did you think about this episode? Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. Last but not least, and thank you to Ace. Follow Ace on social media. Last but not least, let's do a Patreon. All right, Mikhail Linden. John really wanted to shout you out. So, John.
Mikhail, listen, okay, this is why I want to shout you out, because at first I was like, oh, who in their Patreon could be an Inquisitor? Easily, you could be, you know, you're already very Anglo, and you've got, you know, the specs, you know, you've got a kind of intense look about you, so you could be some kind of Sith Inquisitor. But then I started to think, man, Mikhail, you could be anybody in the Star Wars universe. I could imagine you as, you know, a very wise but very conscientious Jedi. I could even imagine you as a youngling, you know, in the temple, maybe escaping before Order 66 happens, biding your time, finding the remnants of the Jedi displaced across the galaxy and aiding them in bringing back the glory of the Resistance. Mikhail, you could be an alien of the Star Wars universe. You don't even have to go and keep your own you know, visage. You could be, you know, using some kind of advanced tech to hide what you look like, to blend in on our Earth, because what little do we know, we exist in the galaxy far, far away. The possibilities, Mikhail, are endless, and I appreciate that your support for us too is endless, and that you have maintained your focus, your oneness with the force of our Patreon, that you're still here and you're still being as supportive and loving as ever, which is why you could never be a Sith and Inquisitor. See, we're going full circle, because there's not enough hate and chaos and anger, unrequited, unchecked, unanswered inside your heart to allow it to rot to that degree. So Mikhail, thank you for choosing the light side and for sticking with us, and we'll see you next month.
Damn.
Wow, you say a lot of
Bars.
shit, man. Damn.
Bars.
It's turning to slam poetry.
What happened? Was I blacked out for a minute.
Ooh,
Are
you killed
we
it,
good?
bro. You killed it.
No,
Dropping bars.
Yeah, man. Dude, that was great.
Patron, man.
Dude,
Yes.
we've all earned a shot of Patron tonight. Patron.
Patron, man.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we did it.
Yeah, essay.
I think you did it, John.
We did it, essays.
Ahora vamos al del taco, man.
Yeah, we're going to El Taco.